Today we're going to focus on our warriors, 1, 2, and 3. We'll break them down into a little bit of detail today to help you distinguish between the different warriors and get a great practice doing so. Let's start with our eyes closed. Roll the shoulders back so they're underneath, just above the... Start with your eyes closed. Bring your gaze to the third eye center. Roll the shoulders back so they're directly over the hips. Crown of the head reaching towards the sky. And start to focus on the breath. Take a nice big inhale through the nostrils. Feel the coolness and the freshness of the clean air coming in. Feel the chest rising, belly inflating. And as you exhale, feel the sitting bones sinking into the earth. Feel the shoulders relaxing back. And notice the warmth as you exhale any stress or anxiety or tension out through the nose. Continue to follow that breath as you inhale. Feel the crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling, the vertebrates in the back separating, elongating that upper body. And as you exhale, feeling the body surrender at the same time. Allow any thoughts that might come into the mind to just float in there, acknowledge them. Don't try to change them, and then just let them go. Continue to follow that breath as you inhale all the way through that tip of that nose to the back of the head, down the neck, and all the way to the heart center. And as you exhale, follow that breath all the way out, way up through the neck, to the head, and all the way out the tip of the nose. And slowly inhale up the arms, up towards the sky. Spread the fingers wide. Bring them together, and then exhale the hands together in front of the heart center. Keep the fingers spread here and let the thumbs gently touch that heart center. Keep that gaze at that third eye center and continue to watch the breath. Take a moment to set your intention for the class. Slowly release those hands down. Now inhale them up. This time look up at those hands. Exhale them down in front of you. Interlace the fingers, place them under the chin. Inhale up the elbows, and then exhale round the back. Pull the belly back towards the spine, pushing your fingers away from you. Inhale up those arms, just warming up the upper body here. Exhale the hands, palms to the sky until you reach the shoulders, and then bring them down. Inhale them up. Exhale it down. Interlace the fingers, inhale them up. Exhale round. Inhale it up. Exhale, open the hands. One more time, inhale it up. Exhale those hands down. Interlace the fingers and inhale up the elbows. Exhale, round the back. Pull that belly back towards the spine. Inhale it up. And exhale, open. Inhale up those hands. Bring them back to the heart center. And release them down. Take a nice big inhale and dip the chin towards the chest. Take another big inhale. And then exhale, roll the head to one side. And then exhale it all the way over to the other side, getting into that neck. Taking that breath as you get to the edge of that roll, and then releasing it and exhaling all the way over to the other side. Think of yourself as having a laser on the top of your head, and you're making a big giant smiley face with that laser. On your next exhale, find your way over to the other side and then maybe come all the way around one direction, getting into that neck. Instead of making a laser smiley face, think about that crown of the head reaching for each corner of your ceiling or your wall edge. And after you've gone a couple times, go ahead and reverse those circles. Make sure you keep that back nice and elongated, the shoulders relax down. If you find any tight spots, or go ahead and stay in that spot for a moment or two. Maybe take it back and forth. Might feel good. Let the shoulders relax down. And then find your way back to center. Inhale up that head. And then let's make our way into a child's pose. So at the back of that mat, have those knees wide, toes towards one another, and just sit those sitting bones back. Now you can also put a blanket or a towel behind those legs if you need a little bit more space for the hips. Allow the arms to come out and allow the chest to sink down. You can also use a block to rest your head at whatever level you might be. Okay. Some of you may prefer a child's pose where those arms are brought next to your sides with the palms up and the head turned to the side. Or maybe you prefer the knees a little bit closer together. Find the child's pose that works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and extend my arms here. Really crawl those hands in front of you if you have the arms extended. Exhale the chest down. Feel the whole back side of the body lifting. Feel the back ribs expanding. Feel the hips releasing, the lower back spreading, and the chest and the belly sinking a little bit closer to the earth. Maybe close your eyes here. Bring that gaze to that third eye center once again, and really focus on that breath. Feel the backside of the body lifting up towards the sky. And with each exhale, feel that body surrendering down a little bit more. Remember, at any time during your practice, in any practice really, when you feel your body needs to pause in what you're currently doing, a child's pose is always an excellent pose to come back to. On that next inhale, I want you to push into the earth with the tops of the feet and the knees as firmly as you can. Pull your body back towards the hips, and then inhale all the way up onto your knees, reaching up for the sky. Hands together, exhale in front of the heart center. Pause. Release those hands and take that left leg and swing it forward all the way to the front of the mat. Maybe grab onto some blocks here into that low lunge. Just warming up here, knee up, knee down. Make sure you have some space in between those legs. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward just a little bit more. You can use a hand onto your knees if you prefer as well. But inhale up that body, and then exhale, allow the hips to release here. Now, if you make sure that the ankle is right below the knee, not behind it. If you have some blocks handy or you want to use the earth to walk, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate with blocks. And then slowly walk those hips all the way back, coming up onto the heel of that left foot, toes pointed towards the sky, and just pushing into the earth with that heel as you pull that left hip back, getting into the whole back side of that left leg, that hamstring, that calf behind the knee. And then go ahead and walk those blocks forward into that low lunge. Take another big inhale and then exhale, walk it back to the hamstring, sitting back towards that right foot a little bit. Walk it forward once again. And then exhale, walking it back. Staying here for another breath. And walking those forward once again, maybe using the blocks here, maybe having your hands on the floor, whatever works for you. Tuck the back toes under, and then lift up that knee in for that low lunge. Shift that weight back towards that right heel. Make sure that the ball mound of that back foot is even, meaning you can feel that space between the big toe and the little toe, and the heel's pointing straight up to the ground, up to the sky. Slowly lower that back knee down, pull that front foot back, and then come back to that child's pose. Inhale it all the way up. Exhale those hands together. Shift your weight to the left side, take that right leg and swing it all the way forward to that low lunge once again. Breathing here. Try to adjust that leg and pull the right hip back, left hip forward just a little bit. Hold on to those blocks or just walk back with the hands. I'm going to go ahead and just walk back this time. Go ahead and inhale it forward. And this time, let's push onto that and come up to a more straight up position here, getting into the psoas just a little bit more. Again, using your blocks here is very helpful and nice. Feel the lower part of the body lifting up. Don't let those front ribs really push out here. Exhale, allow the hips to release. Grab onto those blocks or to the ground, and then walk it back once again. That right heel coming up, those toes straight up, toes straight, flexing that foot, pushing in, kind of isometrically pushing into the mat and trying to pull that right leg back, but it's not really going anywhere. To really feel it in the back of that leg, walk it forward. Exhale, walking it back. And then inhale, walking it forward. Tucking the back toes under, lifting the back knee. Pull the right hip back, left hip forward here, and then just gently push back towards that back left heel. This little lunge here. Notice how my knee and ankle are in line. We don't want the knee way in front. That's going to be a lot of pressure on the knee there. So adjust any way that you need to. And then slowly plant those hands and then drag that front foot all the way back into a downward facing dog. Really clawing the mat here, coming up high on the toes, feet hip distance apart. Look back at the heels and then exhale back towards the heels, allowing the chest to sink. Allow the knees to bend here. Don't worry about if they're straight. And then go ahead and shift your weight from one side to the other, walking the dog. Come up high on those toes,
Really lift the hips as high as they can go. Think of your body making the letter V, shifting your weight back towards the heels, chest towards the thighs. And then inhale to your plank. Maybe a knees up or knees down plank. And then exhale back to the downward facing dog. Inhale to the plank. Exhale back to the downward facing dog. Inhale to the plank. Now knees up or knees down here. We're going to shift forward, chaturanga. You can do this with your knees down. And then gently with the elbows pointing back towards the heels, allowing the body to come all the way down. Careful not to totally collapse onto your stomach. Uncurl those feet. Pull those hands back towards the chest, elbows away from the ears, or neck, or shoulders away from the ears, and then inhale up for baby cobra here. Don't jut out the chin. Keep the head neutral. Exhale it down. Now pull those hands back towards the chest. Firmly push into the ground as you inhale up for a cobra. Exhale it down. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale it down. Tuck those toes. Inhale back to your plank and exhale back to the downward facing dog or child's pose here. Now come up high on the toes, bend the knees deeply, hop, step, or float to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale it halfway, bringing your hands on the floor, on blocks, on the sides of your calves, and inhale it halfway. Pull that belly in, pull the shoulders back towards the hips. Think of your body making that number 7, getting that nice arch in that lower back. Exhale, fold. Hands on the hips, soften the knees, squeeze the elbows together, hinging at the hips. Inhale all the way up to the sky, and inhale up. Exhale the hands in front of you. Open up in your Tadasana, the mountain. Legs hip distance apart. Flex all 10 toes off the mat and feel the upper legs engage. Release the toes, but keep the engagement of those legs. Roll the shoulders back. Keep the head and neck neutral. And feel the strength and the power of that pose. Feel the 4 corners of your feet. Are you collapsed on the inner arches? Are you in the outer edges of the feet? Find the ball mount between the big toe and the little toe, and then the back heel. Keep the knees soft. Close your eyes, check in with your balance. Keep breathing. Open those eyes. Inhale up those arms. Exhale, swan dive it down. Palms up toward the sky till the shoulders, and then folding down. Step the right foot all the way back. Feel that those feet hip distance apart. That back heel up. Push onto that left leg and push yourself up to a high lunge here. Hands up. Shift the weight back. Bring the hands on the waist. Pull the left hip back, right hip forward. Feel the body really scissor, those legs scissoring towards one another. And then gently roll that back heel towards the inside of the mat, the center line, so that foot's now in a 45-degree angle. Pull the left hip back a little bit. You might want to shorten up your stance here. Inhale up those arms, bend into the front leg so that the knee does not go beyond the ankle. Warrior 1 here. Pull those upper ribs in. Pull the perineum up. Feel the crown of the head lifting towards the sky. And as you exhale, allowing the hips to release a little bit more. Breathing. You can interlace those fingers, point the fingers up if you want. Keep the arms up. Or maybe that's uncomfortable. Don't bring the shoulders up. You can even bring those arms out into the goalpost. What feels best for your body? Inhale it up. Slowly roll the back foot so that heel comes back up and you're now into the high lunge. Let that high lunge come down a little bit more. Shift the weight forward just a little bit. Pivot the back heel down once again. That 45-degree angle. Warrior one, once again. Don't collapse into the inner arch of that back foot. Breathing. Bring those hands down to the waist. Now straighten the front leg. Now we're going to come into that pyramid pose. Pull the left hip back, right hip forward. Maybe step your stance a little bit closer to keep that front leg straight. And then reach on forward. And reach out. That halfway. And then exhale all the way down. Maybe using blocks here. Using your leg. Maybe you can reach the ground. Slowly soften the front knee once again, and then inhale it all the way back up to that warrior one. Pivot the back heel up, back into that high lunge, and then exhale the hands all the way down. Pull the front foot back, downward facing dog. Come up high on the knees or the toes, bend the knees deeply, look to the front of the mat, and then hop, step, or float to the front of the mat. Forward fold, inhale halfway, exhale full, inhale all the way up. Hands together, exhale in front of the heart center. Hold on to that waist and step that left foot all the way back into that high lunge. Give yourself some space, pull the right hip back, left hip forward, bend into the front knee. And when you're ready, inhale up those arms. High lunge on the other side. And you'll notice that one side seems a little easier than the other side, or tougher. It's how it is for everybody. Bring those hands onto the waist. Really make sure you're square towards the front of the mat. And then gently pivot that back heel down towards the center of the mat a bit. So now that foot's in a 45-degree angle. Pull the right hip back once again. Keep those inner thighs scissoring towards one another as you exhale and bend into that front knee. Inhale up the arms. Again, you can do whatever you want with these arms. You can interlace the fingers. You can exhale, open those arms into that goalpost position, or inhale them straight back up again. Flex all 5 toes of that front foot out, and from that front foot, feel the 4 corners of that front foot. Feel the ball mount and the heel of the back foot. Then into the front knee just a little bit more. Relax those toes down. Bring those hands all the way down. Hold on to the hips. Pull that right hip back. Sink into that front leg a little bit more. Now straighten the front leg into that pyramid pose. Maybe shorten up the stance here if you need to. Okay. Listen to your body. Inhale up those hands. Now reach with the left hand a little bit more than the right hand to keep those hips square, coming forward, pulling the belly back into that pyramid, and then bringing those hands down to the leg, the floor perhaps, using a block. Slowly releasing that knee, inhaling it all the way back up to the warrior one. Pivot the back heel up, shift your weight back towards that back heel, back to the high lunge. Exhale those hands down, coming back to downward facing dog. Or maybe your body would like a child's pose. Breathing. Now, go ahead and inhale up the left leg, nice and high. And then take another big inhale and exhale to the plank, one-legged plank. Inhale it back up, one leg. Exhale back to the plank, maybe a knee plank here. And then find your way back to that one-legged plank, one-legged dog. Now hinge the knee and allow that right foot to fall over towards the right, or the left foot to fall over to the right side. Pointing that knee towards the sky or the ceiling, stacking the hips, and opening up that whole left side of the body up towards the sky. Maybe but try to keep the shoulders square to the mat here. Inhale that leg back behind you. Again, square off the hips towards the ground. Take another big inhale, and as you exhale, bring that leg all the way forward to the outer edge of the left hand, coming up on those fingertips, and then replacing that foot with that hand. Now, if that's not in your wheelhouse, you can come down to your knees and bring that left leg forward. Now we're going to pivot the back foot sideways. So now that the back edge of that foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat, tic-tac that front foot so that it feels like the heel is intersecting the arch of the back foot. Place the left hand on top of that leg and then cartwheel yourself up into the warrior two. Don't collapse into the inner arch of the back foot. This one is you're a little bit on a tightrope, okay? This is where we're all in alignment. Now, if we have a hip structure where that just does not feel right and we need a little bit of space, then take a little bit of space in between those legs. Again, the knee should be over those center toes. A nice way to think about it is having that knee coming out towards the pinky toe almost, then into that front leg. Not collapsing into the back arch. Think of a wire coming up from the ground up through the tailbone and all the way up the crown of the head. Bring the arms out wide. Shoulder level. If your shoulders are crunched up, bring the palms, the hands open, and then relax the shoulders down. Turn the palms back down. Gaze over that third finger. Breathing as you exhale, allow the hips to release into that warrior two. Maybe flip that front hand open and then inhale up. Keeping the body where it says exhale the hand over, bending into that front knee a little bit more. And then exhale back to that warrior. Opening up the shoulders. And slowly straighten the front leg. And then reach until the body can't reach anymore. Now we're allowing the body to move. And then slowly go into the triangle. Maybe using a block here. Inhale it back up. Using that core bend into that front knee. Now slowly bring that back hand forward and roll the right shoulder down as the back heel comes up. Now we're in that low lunge. Tick-tock that front foot out wide a little bit. You're in that low lunge here. Maybe step it up a little bit closer and then place that left hand on that knee. Inhale it up. Plant the back heel down towards the center of the mat. Come into the warrior one. Now inhale, straighten the front leg. Pivot the back heel sideways. Now it's parallel. Maybe tick-tock that leg forward a little bit. Open up the body back into warrior two.
Inhale up those arms. Pull the left hip forward, lift that back heel up, come all the way down to that low lunge. Squaring up the hips. Give yourself some space. Take that left arm, bring it to the inside arch, that front foot. Get into that hip. The knee can come down here. Inhale up the knee. Place that hand on there. Inhale back up to the high lunge. Exhale that heel down. Warrior one once again. Now bring the hands to the hips. And come back to the high lunge. Give yourself some space. Now shift the weight towards that front foot so that back foot comes light. Keep that left hip pulled back. Coming into warrior three. Lifting the back heel up. You can hold on to the waist here. Now that right hip wants to come up. You can use blocks here. Okay. Flex the back foot. Picture yourself pushing on a back wall here, keeping the left knee straight. And then slightly pigeon toe that back elevated foot, because that's going to help that right hip to square down a little bit. Breathing here. You can bring your hands into an airplane. Bring them forward or down. Then slowly bring that back foot down next to the other foot and forward fold. Tic-tac the feet towards one another. Squeeze the knees, the ankles, and the toes towards one another. Then sit the sitting bones back like you're sitting in a chair. And then inhale up. Breathing into that chair. Exhale those hands down. Inhale up the hips, fold. Inhale halfway. Fold. Inhale all the way up. Swan dive it down. And then step back to the downward facing dog. Inhale up the right leg. Right back behind you. Shift that weight back towards that left heel. And then hinge the knee, lifting the knee towards the sky, stacking the hips, and allowing that right foot to come back behind you. Keeping the shoulders square. Opening up that whole right side of the body. And then inhale that foot back behind you, square off the body. And then inhale to a one-legged plank. Exhale to the one-legged dog. Take another big inhale. Exhale to the one-legged plank, maybe a knees down plank here. And then exhale. Inhale back to that one-legged dog. Exhale back to the plank once again. Now you can chaturanga down with a one-legged plank. Bring them both down. Bring the knees down. Your choice. Exhale all the way down. Plant those hands. Inhale up for cobra. And then exhale back to the child's pose. Or tuck the toes and come to downward facing dog. Inhale up that right leg once again. Exhale it forward to the outer edge of the right hand. Tent those fingers and swing that knee out wide and replace that hand with your foot. Pivot the back heel down so it's parallel to the back edge of the mat. Plant that right hand and cartwheel yourself up to warrior two. Maybe change your stance. Heel intersecting the back arch, not collapsing to the back arch. Checking in with the arms. Bending into that front knee, making sure that knee is not coming in towards that inner arch or the outer edge of the foot, so over the center of the toes. Lifting that front hand and then reverse the warrior.
exhale back to that warrior gaze over the center finger, bending into that front knee, breathing. Where's your body holding that tightness? Release it. Slowly bring those arms back up. Pivot on that back heel up into that high lunge, giving yourself some space. Maybe bring the hands to the waist. Adjust your stance, and then pivot the back heel down, that 45-degree back into that warrior one. Bring those hands out wide, turn that body open, adjust the back foot, maybe tic-tac the front foot forward, over to the warrior two. Keeping the body back, the body wants to come forward sometimes. Now straighten the front leg and reach the body forward until it no longer reaches, and then allow the right hand to come down to the floor of the leg. Maybe a block, reaching up for that Trikonasana. Take another big inhale, pull the belly in, coming all the way back up. Bending into that front foot for that forward. Now inhale up and roll the left shoulder down as the back heel comes up into that low lunge. Pull the right foot back all the way into that one-legged dog. Exhale it forward again, coming up into the high lunge. Pivot the back heel down into that warrior one. Bring the hands on the waist, pull the right hip forward, or right hip back, left hip forward, and then gently shift the weight to that front foot, allowing the body to bend forward, lifting the back foot up, flexing it, allowing that left hip to come down by pigeon-toeing that back foot slightly, keeping your body right here, maybe into the airplane, hands forward, or maybe bringing them down. Whatever feels right for your body. From this warrior three, step that foot all the way back into that low lunge. Take that left hand down, lift the right arm up, and bring it to the inside edge of the right foot, and tic-tac it out. And you can bring the knee down here if you want for our lizard on the other side. Getting into the hips a bit. Knee can be up for more muscle building. You can even bring the arms down. You can bring them on blocks. Your choice. Now slowly drag that front foot back. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up. Bring the knee all the way up to the outer edge of the left hand. Swing that ankle over. Step the right knee back. Untuck the toes. Pull the left hip back just a little bit so that the body is squared towards the end of the mat. And then allow the hip to release. Now you might want to use a blanket or a block under that hip. Into our pigeon. You can stay here. You can come forward on your elbows. You could come forward on blocks. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed. Release the muscles in the face. If it's available, you might be able to bring your head to the floor. Now, the more parallel that leg is to the front of the mat, the more flexed that foot has to be to protect the knee. If your leg is more at an angle, like mine is, then having my toes slightly pointed works fine. Breathe through that back side of the body. Slowly bring that yourself back up. Plant those hands, tuck the back toe, push into the earth to lift that hip up. Pull that leg back. Might want to come back into a child's pose here. Or maybe go straight to your downward facing dog, your choice. Notice the difference between the left side of the body and the right side of the body. If you're in that child's pose, you can come up to your knees, or you can come back to that downward facing dog, your choice. Either position that you're in, shift that right leg back behind you slightly, maybe up if you're in the downward facing dog. Bring that knee to the outer edge of the right wrist. Plant the knee down, swing the ankle towards the left side of the mat, and gently step the left knee back. Untuck those toes. Allow the body to sink back. And then maybe shift the right hip back just a little bit so you're square towards the front of the mat. And then allow that hip to release. Again, you can use a block or a blanket along the front of that leg. The more parallel that shin is to the front of the mat, the more flexed that foot needs to be. Otherwise, let those hips sink down into that pigeon. Allow the body to move to where it feels right for you. So maybe coming on to the elbows. Again, using your blocks here. Maybe allowing the body to come down if it's in your wheelhouse. Head down, you can use the block for your head. So find what feels right for your body. And then breathe. Feel the body elongating, the heart center sinking. Feel the hips releasing. Where's your body holding its tension? Breathe into that space. Are you squeezing your fingers or holding your hands tightly, squinting your eyes, clenching your jaw? Release all the muscles in your face, your hands, your feet. Allow the shoulders to relax down. Pull away from the ears. Allow the hips to release. Slowly find your way back up. Tuck the back toe under. Push into the mat with that front knee, the hands, and the back toes to lift up the hips. Pull the right leg back. Maybe take a final downward facing dog. Bring the knees down, toes together, push back to that child's pose that we started with. From the child's pose, slowly walk that body forward. Bring the knees hip distance, hips directly over the knees, and then arms out and fall into a puppy here, getting into the back. With this puppy, you might be someone who needs to put your head on a block. This is a great shoulder opener here. Great for the back. Let's shift that body forward so that the elbows come underneath the arms. Pelvic area comes down, tops of the feet flat towards one another together. into your Sphinx. If this bothers your back, bring the shoulders up, the elbows out a little bit further. And then sweep those arms in front of you and all the way out to the sides. Coming on to your stomach. Take that right arm, bring it out to your T position. Turn the thumb down towards the sky, lift the palm to the hand, step that left leg up. Use the right arm to push the body over towards that right side, that left arm. You may even step that leg there, or this leg may stay in front, getting into the shoulder. Slowly roll back towards your stomach. Release that right hand, let that left hand come out. Turn the thumb towards the ground, palm to the sky. Tent the right fingers. Lift the right knee and step it back behind you, getting into the shoulder on the other side. Slowly come forward again. Release those arms down to your side. Go ahead and bring that right heel towards your right buttocks. Reach for the front of that ankle. You may want to use a strap here as well. You can use your strap to hold on to that leg and pull that heel towards the buttocks. Getting into that front thigh. I'm going to release the strap here for myself. Release that leg and come to the other side. Lift the left heel up, reach for that front of that ankle, pull that ankle towards the body. Again, you can use your strap here, just keep the head relaxed. Go ahead and release that leg down. Now go ahead and bring both knees in, reaching for the front of both of those ankles. Again, you can use your strap for this, okay? You can bring that strap in front of both of the ankles. Keep those feet about hip distance apart and use your strap to pull both at the same time. Now, once you're holding on, whether the strap ends, push the feet away from you to lift the shoulders and bring the body up. The knees are going to want to sway out. Keep them hip distance apart. And then maybe even rock and roll here a little bit if it feels good, or just stay here. Slowly release everything down. Find your way onto your back. As we finish up our practice here, move that strap a little bit. Your way onto your back. Bring that right knee into the chest. Flex that left leg away from you. Take the left hand, bring it on the outer edge of that right knee, the right arm out to a T, and then go ahead and cross that right foot over to the left side, using the left arm as a counter pressure. A little bit of twist here. Release that leg, bring it back to center, pull it into the chest once again. Extend that right leg out and bring in the left leg. Take that right hand to the outer edge of that left knee, left arm out to a T, and then just gently cross the knee over towards the right side. Just go to where it's comfortable for you, what feels right for your body. Your leg may touch the other side, it may not. Getting into that outer hip, the T-band, getting a nice little twist in the back and wringing out of those inner organs of our body. Releasing any toxins that might be in those organs. Releasing the hip a little bit more. Release that leg back to center. Kind of roll it over to the side. Bring in the other leg, bring it into the chest. Give yourself some little circles here, massaging that lower back. Reversing those circles. It's a lot of standing poses today. We take those knees into the chest a little bit more, nice wide circles with the hips. And then reverse those circles. Push the knees away. Take those legs nice and wide. And bring those knees back in. Another little bit of hug here. If you want to take a happy baby here by grabbing the sides of the feet and hinging the knees and bringing them out wide, this might be a really nice time to take one. You can rock it back and forward and back a little bit. Or you can just come straight into your Shavasana, extending one leg then the other, allowing the toes to fall to the side. Maybe rolling one to one side and tucking the shoulder and allowing it to come down on the other. The chest is nice and open. Bring the arms out to the side with the palms of the hands up. Taking a nice big breath, and as you exhale, allow everything to release. Bring the gaze back to the third eye center. As you take an inhale all the way up through the crown of your head. Follow the prana as it makes its way down your body, releasing any stress, tension, or anxiety. Allow the muscles in the face to relax. The teeth might separate. Feel the shoulders surrendering into the earth and the prana making its way down each arm. Past the elbows, through the wrists, into the palm of each hand until it makes its way out the fingertips. Continue to follow that breath as you take that inhale. Feel the chest rise. Feel the ribs separate, the belly expand. And as you exhale, feel that heart center softening, the navel center pulling back, the hips releasing, and that prana gently finding its way down each leg. Past the knees, through the ankles, into the heel of each foot until it makes its way up the tips of each toe. Continue to follow that breath as you inhale all the way up through the crown of the head. And it makes its way all the way down the body. And on your next inhale, feel that breath travel from the tailbone all the way up the spine, through the back of the neck, the back of the head, and all the way up the crown again. So that with each healing breath, we're inhaling through that nostril. And as we exhale, we're releasing any remaining tension, stress, or anxiety out the nose, the ears, the mouth, the fingertips, the tips of the toes, every pore of the body. That the only thing remaining is that peaceful healing energy. Just enjoy that feeling.
Gently bring your awareness back to the present moment by wiggling your fingers and toes, and then bringing your knees into your chest to give yourself a gentle hug. When you're ready, roll to your side and use your arm and your hand as a pillow. Take a moment to reflect on your practice. Notice how the body is settled, the breath is settled, and the mind is settled. With your head heavy and your eyes closed, gently use your arm and your hands to push yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands together in prayer position in front of the heart center. And then rub them together, creating heat and friction to the palms of those hands. And then cup your eyes, blocking out all the light, and then opening your eyes into that darkness, absorbing that energy. Bring the hands together in a prayer position at the forehead. Bow your head. Namaste.